Welcome to the first video installment of American Dream Overland Expedition. I'm your host, Kenneth Medley. This is an American culture series with people, adventure, and automobiles at the center. We are going to overland, cook, meet new people from every destination. We want to know what your adventures are, what your story is. We want to know who you consider to be an American, what you consider to be American culture, and what you consider to be the American dream. We want to know if that dream is alive or dead today according to you. On future episodes, we're hoping to have special guests, but today we're going to take the time to introduce ourselves and tell you why we're doing this. The most important thing of our adventure is to enjoy the people that we meet, the company that we keep, and the country that we are exploring. I'm here in Johnson City, Tennessee with Larry Vitale, our resident chef on the show. Larry, why don't you go ahead and take a few minutes to tell me about yourself?
Well, I'm a recent transplant from New Jersey. I've been in restaurants since I was 17 years old.
What was your first car?
My first car was a 1977 Fiat.
1977 Fiat. Any special memories in that car?
Oh, driving around town in the Mafia staff car.
How long did you have it?
What could have been better? I had it for about 3 months, and then I blew the electrical system up.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. What car or truck do you own now?
Right now I have a 2002 Jeep Wrangler.
Okay.
That's sitting in the garage waiting for me to finish working on it, so it'll drive again, so it'll follow you around.
I understand that. You gonna follow us around, cook all of our food for every episode?
Absolutely.
Nice.
That's what I'm here for.
Well, for me, I am 30 years old, and I was born in Indiana. I've been living down here for about 3 years since I've gotten out of the Army. Been going to school here for mass communication. My first vehicle was a 1992 Ford Bronco, full-size, that I had in high school. I had it for about 6 months, blew the front seal in the transmission, four-wheeling, of course. My dad and I replaced that, and I ended up blowing the transmission about 6 months later. So I have a history with some transmissions. Now I own a 2003 Ford Excursion, Eddie Bauer edition with a 6.0 V8 turbo diesel. And I actually bought this 2 years ago from a buy here, pay here with the sole intent of overlanding in this vehicle. I actually bought it, and I always said that this thing was so big that if I ever lost my house, as long as I could make my car payment, I had a home. All right, we're going to do a quick walk around so I can show you the truck, show Larry the truck, so you can understand how we got it set up for overlanding. Right here in the back, we've got a little extra storage area, and everything that you kind of see about on the ground will all fit in here. We also use this as a prep station when we have the grill and everything set up. And the best feature with the Excursion is the full-size bed. If you want to come around on this side, Larry, you can see that I have started to modify the truck a little bit. We've got some XD series beadlock wheels with some Nitto Terra grapplers, and then again you can see the full-size bed, plenty of room inside. Up front it's pretty much stock. Of course, got the XD wheels on the front. And like I said, we got a lot of plans going on. I want to do a roof rack with a big observation deck out front. I want to get rid of this bumper and get like a Baja style bumper to increase approach angles. And then I would like to cut a lot of these fender wells out. What I want to do is cut these out and then do a moderate lift with bigger tires, and then what that's going to do is just keep my center of gravity a little lower, and it's not going to get me too high but still give me a little bit better ground clearance and everything like that. I do want to change a little bit of the seats, but not too much. I just want to make them a little more comfortable for the long haul. And then of course you got the full-size bed. That's a big feature that I like to brag about. When I go out by myself, it's not going to be the full size. That's only for Kehlani and I. And then of course back around to the back, we've got our tent, a little extra storage space, extra sleeping space, and we got the grill set up. And like I said, everything you see here fits all into the truck. We still have plenty of room for the dogs and everything else. Now that you've seen the Excursion and we've introduced ourselves briefly, we'd like to take a minute to tell you what we're going to be doing and why. The first thing is overlanding. if you don't know what overlanding is, there's a lot of definitions out there. The one that we're going to use is Overland Journal's definition, and it's self-reliant adventure travel to remote destinations where the primary goal is the journey itself. I agree with this. Larry, do you?
Absolutely.
Anything you would add?
Nope.
The one thing I would add personally is that for me, it's about revelation and education. I was in the Army for 10 years, like I said before, and I saw a lot of other countries, and I never even got to experience a lot of the U.S. I've been west of the Mississippi twice, once to Fort Polk and once to Fort Seal. I'd like to experience America. I'd like to understand what the United States is and what it has to offer more than what I've seen. And so for me, overlanding isn't just about the journey, it's about what you learn and who you meet on the way there. The other thing that we're going to be doing is meeting people and talking to people. And this is really the reason why I want to take this trip and produce this show and everything. And it's, you know, every time you go someplace new and you meet new people, everybody has different beliefs and different meanings, and yet in the United States we all call ourselves Americans. And so I really want to know who an American is, what an American is, what American is all about. You know, for you, who is an American?
Someone who lives here in the United States.
See, I agree with that it is somebody who lives here in the United States, but I also include Canadians and people from Mexico, Guatemala, Brazil, other places, because, you know, that's Central America, South America, North America, we're all part of that. And for me, it's a little more than that. I know when I was in Europe, people said that, oh, people from the United States are a little arrogant because they call themselves Americans, and so are all the other people. Well, I agree with that, you know, and so I want to know what the audience thinks. If you live in the United States, do you consider yourself American, and do you consider only people in the United States an American, or is it other people? I have a friend who's Canadian, and I know that he told me one day, I might not be an American, but I'm still your friend. And he was kind of surprised when I said, well, you're still an American, you live in North America, you know.
True.
And that's really why I want to know who an American is, you know. What color is an American? What race?
There is no color.
Exactly.
There is no race.
But is an American a race? Crevecoeur said in, you know, the 1750s, when the United States was still being colonized, that American was a person of mixed blood and mixed descendants, that he could show you an English man with a French wife who had 4 sons, and all of which took a wife from a different nationality, and that those resulting children of all that mixed blood was an American. And I know that genetic studies have proven that there's even more mixtures that went on than just French, Dutch, and so on and so on, that people mixed with, you know, Native Americans, with Africans and African Americans. And so, you know, I want to meet as many different people who call themselves American as they can, so I can understand completely, and so that we can let the audience understand completely who is an American. And same thing really with American culture. Like, what do you consider American culture? See, yeah, that's a hard one. I've been told that American culture is cultural appropriation, that American culture is all about stealing other cultures, but, you know, what is it? Is bike riding a part of American culture? Even though the bicycle wasn't invented in America, but the mountain bike was, and the mountain bike is one of the premier bicycling sports of the world today. So is that American culture, or is that culture we stole from somebody else?
Good point.
You know, I really want to, I'd like to explore, I'd like to talk to the audience members, I'd like to understand. I want to know, you know, what American culture is in New Orleans, and I want to know what American culture is in LA, and I want to know what American culture is in Seattle, and I want to know what American culture is in Maine, and I want to know what American culture is in all those places at the same time. And I want to know how they're different, and I want to bring that to the audience. I think that American culture has a common theme. Dr. William Berman, he's a chiropractor here in Johnson City, in an interview once told me that American culture is helping people and making sure that your neighbor is taken care of as much as you are. Do you agree with that?
I could see that, yeah.
The other thing that I want to talk to people about and explore is American identity. I think that we have a little bit of a problem with that in the U.S. right now. Would you agree with that, or do you
definitely.
think? Why do you think that there's a problem with American identity right now?
I'd say technology at this point. Everyone's so self-absorbed in their own little microcosm that they don't have a definitive identity.
I understand. Do you think that the American dream is something that's still alive today in the United States? What do you think the American dream is?
I've always known it to be life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
And what does that mean to you?
And the pursuit of happiness seems to be harder and harder as things progress, and it's not what it used to be when I was younger.
Okay, so do you think that America is still the land of opportunity, or do you think that it's become so impossible that you can't progress anymore at all?
There are ways, but they're few and far between anymore. It's getting more and more difficult as corporations grow larger and push small business out. And it's harder to make your own way in life without relying on somebody else.
You know, a lot of people used to say that American culture was the American dream. It was about being the land of opportunity and making something out of nothing. And so maybe that identity crisis has kind of made us question our own culture. Well, America, this concludes our first video installment. As you can tell, we've posed some questions that there's not easy answers to. And we're looking forward to traveling the country and getting to meet each and every one of you to find out what you mean. We'd like to take a minute to thank RPM Off-Road. We're taking the excursion over there tomorrow. We've got a lot of parts that we're going to be ordering. We got 2 injectors, injector cups, water pump, a lot of other stuff that we're going to be getting prepared on the truck. We have a long expedition ahead of us. And I'd like to thank Zach Stiles at Mountain Life. We're going to be seeing more of his products on the show. There's going to be some decals and some other stuff coming up. Really excited about that. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching the whole show. And please like, share, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. And if you want to be a part of the show, or you want to be featured on the show, if you have an opinion on the questions that we posed today, go to GoFundMe, donate, and we'll come to your house and we'll tell your story and we'll get your opinion.